Good morning. It's time for the Morning Mindset edition of LiveBuildChange.com. And I am Carey Green. I'm a retired pastor and a fellow traveler on this journey of faith that we're all walking. It's an opportunity for us every morning during this morning mindset to join ourselves together around the truth of God so that we can set our minds on it and therefore live this day according to it. Okay, that's our goal. We want to be able to hear what God says about himself and about reality so that we can align our hearts and minds with it and live in light of it. And that's the kind of life that actually brings us the most joy. It's the kind of life that brings us the most meaning and purpose, is a life that's aligned with God's way of looking at the universe. And so today, we've been talking about the times, the seasons in life when things are dark and you tend toward depression or discouragement. And it's my hope that these conversations we've been having, even though they're quite one-sided with only me doing the talking, have not been nudging you toward a deeper pit. I mean, I'm not one to shy away from reality. I want to address the fact that life is hard, and God himself, even though he's a loving God, allows and even intends very difficult things to come into our lives. And I don't shy away from it because I believe that when we face reality as it is, and that is reality, we are able to live more healthily, more joyfully, more aligned with truth, and therefore in a way that brings great honor to God. Because think of it this way. If God is a loving God, which he is, and if God is entirely sovereign over the difficulties of your life, which he is, then you're able to see that he is even bigger than you thought he was. Because he not only can allow difficult things in your life and still be good, he can not only intend difficult things to come into your life and still be good, he has the wisdom and the insight, the foresight, the wise plan for all of creation, that he's able to use all of that to bring about incredible good. You see, that's what God does. He brings about good in the world. Even though he temporarily brings hardship into our lives at times, he's using that hardship for good. That's what Romans 8:28 says. God causes all things to work together for the good of those who love him and for those who are called according to his purpose. That's his good purpose that's going on in the background. And we looked a few days ago at Psalm chapter 40 and how David described what happened in his life when he was in a dark time. He calls it a pit of destruction and a miry bog. Okay, very expressive language there for what he felt about the situation he was in. And he says, when God inclined his ear and answered him, he set his feet on a rock and he made his steps secure. And he put a new song in his mouth, and it was a song of praise to God. And then David says this. He says, many will see and fear and put their trust in the Lord. So think about that. Because of what God did in David's life, taking him through a dark time, and it seems like it was a fairly long season because David said he had to wait patiently on the Lord to hear him and to act. So as people saw God take David through that dark time, and then they saw him pull David out of that dark time, and they saw that David was then able to sing a song of praise to his God, they saw and they feared and put their trust in the Lord. So beyond the fact that God is able to use the difficult situation in your life to bring about good for you, he is also able to use that entire situation and the fact that he was in control of it to bring about good in the lives of others who perhaps have never placed faith in God to begin with. Only God can do that. That's an amazing thing, and that's the God you serve. You serve a God who's able to use every difficulty for good in your life and in the lives of others who perhaps have scoffed at him up until this point. Encourage yourself with that today. God is doing good in your life right now, and he's going to use it for you and for others. I'll meet you again on the Morning Mindset tomorrow morning.